Hi, how are you today?
Very good, thank you very much. Slightly sore after the weekend and the run.
I know, but you did it.
I made it through.
Never ever doubted it. Knew she would. Just proves, right? You can stick to something and see it all the way through. So well done.
Feeling like a trooper.
Good. And how about your diet then? Have you been... because most of us in the new year, we tend to think about changing things in our lives, and most of us look at changing diets. But of course, because you've been training for this half marathon, that's not been at the forefront of your mind, right?
No, not really, actually. So perhaps for me, I think some of the emphasis will move away from the running to just fighting a bit of flab.
Not that you have any, Laura, come on. The thing is, the word diet, it's thrown around in a negative connotation. I mean, diet is actually what you consume, but people tend to think I'm on a diet, and I guess even myself, by saying that in the beginning, I've said people are looking at their diets and things like that. But yeah, now you're moving away from your running. You're still obviously going to keep super fit, but it's more about if you try to think, if you're going to change what you're eating for whatever reason, whether it's for fitness or for weight loss, try to think about, well, what food am I putting into my body? I read a really nice article yesterday in a yoga magazine, and basically this person spoke about the kitchen sink, that it had clogged up, with sort of rotten food that had been sort of thrown down the sink and things. And they'd got a plumber to come, and they were kind of disgusted with what was stuck in the pipe. So the person that wrote the article sort of said, could you imagine if that was your body, like a metaphor, if you're putting all this sort of bad stuff into your body, will it clog up? And of course it will. So as you all know who listen quite regularly, I always sort of champion having a nice organic diet. So today what I'm going to share with you is, if you are thinking about watching your weight or becoming healthier or whatever reason to change what you eat, today I'm going to give you what I'm calling the only diet to follow, which is a really nice roundup of all the main food groups in an organic, healthy way. So you can forget about all these fad diets.
Yeah, none of this New Year's resolution's going to lose 2 stone in 2 weeks.
No.
Put your Special K away.
So why not start your day the grain way? This is how you start your day, Laura, right?
Yes, the grain
Me
way.
too. That is traditional Scottish porridge. Okay, I'm a little biased because I'm Scottish, but actually oats are a fantastic wonder food, and I have spoken about them on the show before, haven't I? So you really have to think about having this to start your day. It's going to give you the perfect balance of carbohydrate. It's low calorie, it's low fat, and it keeps your belly nice and slim. So it's a wonderful food to have. It's very low on the glycemic index, so that means that it's slowly absorbed into your body's bloodstream. So it'll gradually release energy for you throughout the day. So it actually helps keep your blood sugar levels stable. But the great thing is it makes you feel full, so you don't then reach for something else. And it makes you feel quite warm, which is not a bad thing right now. It's a bit cold here, isn't it?
Yes.
It also, porridge has been proven to lower cholesterol and prevent heart disease. And so it's a really good food, and it's actually coming in. If you have a bowl of 40 grams with sort of low-fat milk, 200 calories. It's one of these superfoods. It's been trialed with so many different research schools and things like that it's proven to be the best way to start your day.
Porridge power.
Definitely. Power to the porridge. And anyone out there who's thinking about skipping breakfast, do not even think about it, because it's definitely not a great way to start on any kind of weight loss or feeling healthy. You need to fuel yourself. I've said this before, right? You're a machine. You got to feel it. So moving on from your breakfast, it might come to a lot of mid-morning snack, and you might be wanting something. So what will you reach for? Hopefully the porridge has kept you feeling quite full. But if you are wanting a little nibble, Laura does like to graze here, don't you?
Definitely graze. I love to nibble.
To be honest, I'm always looking forward to what's coming next. But something that is really quite wonderful is nuts. So hopefully if you've not got any nut allergies, nuts are little gems that are packed full of protein. Nut of choice?
Oh, I love them all. There are no nuts that I don't love. I think my favourites are cashews and macadamias. They're not actually the most
macadamia.
they're not the most nutritionally.
No.
I mean, almonds are fantastic, walnuts are fantastic, peanuts are not so fantastic, but all delicious. I love them all.
I agree, actually. I do. I love pistachios, but it's the shell that annoys me.
Yeah, I'm impatient. I'm like,
so am I.
Nuts that
I'm like, hurry up, come on, let's get these open. But no, I'm absolutely the same. I love them. And the great thing about nuts is people do tend to have a bit of a preconception that nuts are fattening. Nuts do have fat in them. Brazil nuts, for example, have quite a lot of fat, but it's good fat.
Oh, I love Brazil nuts.
Yeah, and they're amazing, right? But nuts come from that side of things that have your fats that are good for you, but of course you don't want too many of them because that will add on calories. So your almonds are by far the best option for sort of nuts if you're watching your weight. and some walnuts as well, like you've mentioned. Cashews as well aren't that bad, but they're going to the side of
They're
the
best
heavier
roasted
ones.
and salted, so that's probably where the problem
That's
comes
the
in.
thing. I think once you start to get into like macadamias and Brazil nuts, they are quite saturated. So the more of them you're having, so it would be okay to have one Brazil nut, sure, but if you're having
You
5,
can't just have one Brazil nut. You can't.
exactly. And of course, you know, apart from nuts, like if we're talking about a snack, you could have. I mean, I always sort of suggest like 5, no more than 10 almonds is enough, just to sort of nibble on, and just have them in their pure organic form. So no spices or sugar coated all over them, because these are quite popular now to have that, and it masks the flavour of the real nut as well. Of course, it adds things onto it. Something that I am obsessed with, and I think Laura is as well, is almond butter.
Yeah.
I just love it, and I have a new toy now that I'm going to be able to make my own almond butter, so I'm very excited. But almond butter is basically just almonds but being liquefied. There's nothing added to it, so it's just the almond, and because of the oil that is inside an almond, it releases it to make it a bit of a wet, like a butter. This is a fantastic thing to use on toast. I often have it with like a banana, so it's perfect little protein power there in a small, like, you know, it's like a teaspoon of it, and it's just a really nice lift if you just want something but you just don't really know what you want, kind of thing. So definitely go nuts for protein. So if we're talking now about our daily diet here, so we've got some porridge, we've had some nuts. What about lunchtime? What do we like to have in our lunchbox?
Lunchbox. This is always the one that I fail at, you know, is lunchtime. I find it hard, as probably do many people, because you're at work and you're busy, and sometimes it just gets totally pushed out of your routine.
The time can shift, can't it? Because like breakfast is quite a staple, and it's probably dinner as well. But lunch can be like, for myself, I can have lunch up until sometimes 2:30, 3 o'clock, and that's not even lunch, is it really?
Yeah.
So it depends on your routine. But is there anything that you kind of favour? Or?
It really depends what I make in bulk, usually from dinner, what's left over. So sometimes it might just be like chicken and veg mixes, or potatoes and things like that, or sandwiches, or salads, all this kind of stuff.
Not too bad at all.
Soup's good as well.
Well, a recent study actually conducted by the Rowett Institute, which is from my hometown of Aberdeen in Scotland, they did a test with office workers. So in Britain, a lot of people like sandwiches.
Yes,
it's a bit of a
we
British
love
staple.
sandwiches. We absolutely love sandwiches.
We do love sandwiches. And the research found that what they did was they gave these office workers the same chicken sandwich. But some of the sandwiches had more chicken, some had more mayo, some had more salad. So it was like a variety, but they all were given it, and they were given a test and see how hungry they felt after it. The end of the result found that those who had the most chicken felt fuller for longer. So even though it was the exact same number of calories and fat and all of these things, the ones with the chicken felt fuller. They didn't want to reach for the cookies at 3 o'clock. And that basically comes down to protein. Protein makes you feel full. So it's a great thing to have. So at lunchtime, I would definitely recommend in making sure you have protein as part of your meal. So protein comes in the form of normally animal products. So for example, chicken, turkey, fish of any kind of variety. It can also come in the form of cheese, eggs, or dairy, so like milk or yogurt, for example. So it depends on where you are. Like you said, if you were at home, like me, I sometimes have like yogurt with some extra stuff with it, you know. Or if you're at work, you could have pre-made a chicken sandwich, or you could take like a tuna salad. That's getting your protein in. So by doing that, you're going to feel fuller for longer, and like I said, less likely to reach for something later on. However, if you do want a little snack later on, make sure it's something fruity. Yeah. So Laura likes apples. She's got a bit of a fascination
apple
with them.
obsession, and I love malads. I actually just generally love fruit. I had to tone down my fruit eating
I
because
know,
I
but
just
that's
too much
still-
of it.
But and people probably think, why? I thought fruit was so good for you. Fruit is good for you, but too much. You know, fruit contains fructose, which is a natural sugar. It's natural. It's not bad for you, but too much of it can add to weight gain. And it's not too good for your pancreas to overload it with too much fructose. It just means you're secreting too much insulin to manage your blood sugar. So you want to be careful. So that's why there's a daily recommendation of 5 a day. And that encompasses veg as well. So good to try and keep to that 5 a day minimum. I love fruit as well, of all varieties. So I try and sneak it into my meals. Like I said, I have porridge with blueberries. Tick, that's 1 off the list. At lunchtime, I might have some yogurt with strawberries. That's 2 off the list, right? So by the time it gets to the afternoon, I'm thinking, I want something. I would probably reach for an apple personally. Apples have a nice amount of carbohydrate, so they give you a little bit more energy. Of course, so does banana. They have carbs in it as well. Or maybe you want like grapes at your desk if you just want to like nibble. or cherries or anything that you feel makes you feel nice and fruity and contains gives you like an injection of vitamins and minerals, and they're low calorie. So don't be scared.
All round.
Exactly, don't be scared of them. At home I was loving tangerines. I forgot how much I love tangerines. So that's my thing at the moment. Lots of juicy tangerines. So once you've had your sort of afternoon snack and you head back home for dinner time, I'm going to ask Laura, what's your favourite dinner of choice?
Oh, favourite dinner of choice? Wow.
Being healthy.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Mindfully.
No, you were like, pizza? No. I always, I mean, I'm a big chicken fan, so anything really with chicken. I sometimes seem to be a bit boring. I always end up eating chicken and vegetables, but with different sauces, different flavours, cooked in different ways.
But I think that's human nature, isn't it? They say that like we always go to a supermarket and you buy the same 10%
pretty much
the same thing all the time.
Yeah.
And then you look at a cookbook and you're like, wow, I'm quite inspired. Yeah, like I go through a cookbook and I'm like, I never would have thought to make all of these things. But at night time, I would definitely suggest, if you're watching your weight. So if you're trying to be healthy, then it's a little bit different. But if you are watching your weight, please try to avoid carbohydrate. Carbohydrate comes in the form of pasta, bread, grains, so quinoa as well, and rice. So I would sort of skip that at night time, because carbs turn into inside your body, they turn to fat, essentially, if they're not burned off. So at night time, I always advocate having protein. And again, that can come in the form of like meat, like I've just discussed, or fish, but you could have it with salad. You could have it with, like you've said, vegetables, so like chicken with vegetables and a sauce of some description. Or if you're the kind of person that's had a bigger lunch, because some people here like to have a bigger lunch, then at night time it's totally normal to have yogurt, like a Greek yogurt, because that's quite high in protein. So you could have Greek yogurt with some nice fruit or even some raisins in there, something just to give you the protein side of it. And make it quite a big serving, obviously, because it's your dinner time. And that should, by having protein at night time, it should keep you feeling full throughout the evening. Try not to snack, because, you know, our bodies are really, depending on what your routine is, but most of us are not moving around a lot.
It's strange because the evening is always when the sweet attack comes in, I think, for most people. Like, you sat there going, why do I just want to eat something sweet?
Yeah.
And I don't think it's necessarily boredom. It's just like the craving starts to niggle, doesn't it?
I mean, they do say that if you crave sweet food, it can be that you're carb deficient. So you've not had enough carbs. I myself have tested myself on different sort of food. And if I don't eat breakfast, I will look for sugar at night. If I do eat breakfast, I don't look for it at night. But the great thing with this is that, you know, this type of diet, shall we call it, you know, it gives you all your main food groups. So your carbs, your fat, your protein. You have to have all of those throughout the day. You can't be... That's why I hate these low carb diets, because it's like, but it's not going to last in the long term.
No, you can't maintain that.
No way. It's not good for you. So it's good to have a general all-round nutritional plan, okay? So from the oats that I've given you, you know, slow release will give you the energy, like I said. The nuts and the dairy are going to give you protein, as well as your actual protein from chicken and things like that. And obviously, if you're having fruit and veg, it's giving you vitamins, it's giving you minerals. But please make sure that, you know, it's not all just about what we eat, it's also about what we drink as well. So a lot of people can go out the window with these sugary drinks and things like that. You try to not consume too many calories in liquid form. So I always suggest, you know, washing these things down with water. Where possible, try and drink a lot of water, up to 3 litres. Helps you feel like everything's moving in the right direction. It's flushing you out. And some people are like, why would I drink water to lose water? It's not that you're losing water, but your body will retain it. And your sodium levels become too high. So you need to drink water for a reason, right? It's to flush out toxins and to get it through your system. So definitely do that. And if you do need to add like sort of a fruit juice or anything to it, try and find ones that are a bit low in additives and calories and sugars and things like that. And, you know, why not give some green tea a go as well? I always sort of speak about that, don't I? But it is great.
It's just as nothing. I mean, green tea is just champion.
It is.
It's so
and
good for you.
And it revs your metabolism, right?
Yeah.
You feel it. I feel like it really fires you up inside, and it really can help you if you're trying to burn some extra calories. So I hope that this will give you a bit of an idea of some things to try in your daily sort of diet.
Some good guidance for those who are looking ahead for this year, for 2014.
It might be that you just want to be clean and lean 2014.
Yoink, stealing that one. Well, thank you so much.
You're more than welcome.
It's good to have you back in the loop here at QF Radio, and you'll be back again on Wednesday.
Yes, back on Wednesday. I'm going to be talking about exercise for beginners, because I've had a few messages in about that. So if you are new to exercise, please listen in and we'll give you some nice tips.
Fab, we look forward to it.
Great, see you then.
See you later.